Nobody's listening, right?
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Is anybody listening?
Oh, yeah. I got a little iTunes review here from SCJDB. A delighted plaid convert. What are you wearing? Hold your horses, TMZ. It was my dear friend Elizabeth who persuaded me to invest in this fabulous robe. And oh boy, am I grateful she did. In the realm of robes, this plaid wonderment reigns supreme. Picture this. I slip into its heavenly embrace, feeling like I've transcended into a realm of pure comfort and serenity. It's as if a choir of angels harmonizes each time I put it on. I don't just look stylish. I exude an air of sophistication that makes me the sartorial, is that right?
Sure.
Envy of my living room. Thank you, Elizabeth. You have changed my life. Be right back buying a plaid couch and rug to match.
Yes.
What is she talking about?
I've changed.
Orky talking about.
I've changed hearts and minds and lives.
How so?
With robe. I don't know if
With robe.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. I mean, this was going back many months ago.
Okay.
Like maybe a year ago-ish.
Months a robe?
When I was in my robe phase, and I guess it's because we're kind of getting into, I don't know why.
Summertime?
Yeah, I guess it's because we're getting into summertime, but I mean, robe phase has been gone for a while, but robe phase is coming back, rest assured. And this reminds me, I'm going to get off my ass this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make our Amazon storefront that people can find via our link tree, which people can find via our Instagram at Nobody's Listening Right.
Ooh.
And there you can find a link. You will be able to find a link to robe.
Ooh, your robe.
Yes.
What's the robe look like in case listeners don't know?
It's a red and blue plaid jobber. And it is, I mean, the writer or the commenter was not messing around. Like, this robe is wonderful. And it's on Amazon. It's not expensive. And it will, I'm going to say, elevate lives.
So what you're saying is go to our Instagram, click link on bio. That'll take you to our link tree, which will be, you'll see it right there, Amazon links.
Yeah, and I'm going to have, like, the Touche Clot makeup thing I mentioned a few times ago will be there. The Yves Saint Laurent.
What is that?
The Tervis tumblers, which we love so much.
Do they sell Tervis on Amazon?
They sure do.
God, that's great.
I'm going to have all sorts of things I like up there. And you too, Andy.
I'll think of something I like and I'll put it on there.
Okay.
It'll be very obvious what the thing I like is on there.
I'm guessing it's going to be cast iron something.
Why even do this to me? Why even do this to our listeners?
What?
I have to talk cast iron for a second now.
Okay, here we go.
Because I just got a new 12-inch Lodge Classic. I got you for Mother's Day some very cool, what do you call those? Pepper mills. Pepper mill and salt mill.
Oh, that'll be on there.
That we talked about, I think, on the show as an heirloom thing.
We did.
Okay.
It's all coming together.
So I got those for you for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
I ordered those on Amazon, and we'll put that Amazon link up there. But to get the salt, I realized I didn't have the salt and pepper for it.
Yeah.
I rolled by the old classic Williams-Sonoma
Wilson.
to get the salt.
Yeah.
While I was there, I was like, I really need a new 12-inch cast iron for up at the cabin. Mm-hmm. Classic Lodge brand's what I want. So I see they have a display, and I pick one up, and it's $80. And I'm like, $80 for a Lodge cast iron?
Wow.
Doesn't seem that much for something that'll last a lifetime. But I knew,
not overpriced.
I knew,
worth every penny.
This isn't quite right.
Yeah.
And it was not your typical. I did find out after doing a little bit more research, it was a little lighter weight, and they marketed it as like Lodge, like from this one foundry lightweight. That's hence the higher price point.
I have to say, the weight makes a difference. We have a new saute pan. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off on your rant.
Are you cutting me off or temporarily interrupting me?
I'm temporarily interrupting you. We have a new, it's a saute pan from, like, it's the place we got all of our pots and pans from for the cabin, and we really like those. Caraway, I'll just say it. And, but it's too heavy.
Oh, it's too heavy for you?
Too heavy
it's
for
really
me.
big,
It's
too.
big. Yeah.
Well, getting back to my thing, I was like, $80, that doesn't seem right. And it was too light. I want my cast iron to feel firm. So then I was at Target the next day, or maybe a couple days later.
You love Target.
And they had the Lodge section, and that 12-inch was $30. And I was like,
wow.
That's what I want.
$50.
And I'm keeping it down here, down the hill, as they say, to get it ready, because I got to pour some love into this to get it up to tip-top shape. If I just take it to the cabin where we're using it once, twice, 3 times.
You need to parent it on a daily 24/7 basis.
Yeah. So my daily driver, which I've put, 10 years of love into, maybe more so far.
Your daily driver?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The cast iron pan I use all the time.
Okay.
That one I'm temporarily taking up to the cabin to live up there while I train this one down here. It's kind of like this new one's like a puppy that I'm going to train.
Yeah, and then introduce to the... Now, when you bring the new one up there, are you going to keep them in separate rooms?
No, then when the young gun, who's a bigger gun, who's a 12-inch, my daily driver is a 10-inch. But when the young gun is ready, it will go up to the cabin, and I will bring back Old Faithful down here.
Great.
But it might take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Because I do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want these to last a lifetime.
More than that, to be honest.
Oh, that's right. It lasts generations.
Yes. Real fast.
I have a real fast after you're real fast.
Okay. If you want to support the show, please go to patreon.com/Nobody's Listening Right for a monthly bonus episode, our entire back catalog of these two, chuckleheads yammering on about whatever. I'm just kidding. I'm being self-deprecating. Like almost 1,000 hours of entertainment content there. And
content's better than entertainment, probably as a word describer. Adjective.
Adult entertainment.
Yeah.
And you have, I think right now it stands at 73 more opportunities to get into the first 500 for the MP3 of the intro song, which Andy's going to make. You're going to make an extended release, right?
I wasn't going to until I saw someone comment like, I'm signing up for the extended version, which, truth be told, it probably already was an extended version that we trimmed down, I'm hoping. But if not, you know what? I'm going to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, elbow grease, and I'm going to make at least a 1-minute version of it.
So you're going to get the extended release.
Plus the original version.
Plus the OG. Yeah, look at us. Okay, what's your quick?
My real quick is I wanted to read one more. Are they listening from Spotify? On the Spotify thing, there's a question in there that people have been answering, which is so good. But we can't answer back, which is frustrating, which I wish in the interface, Spotify, if you're listening, let us comment back on these comments. But I did want to answer one thing that someone threw up there. They said, are you listening? 2 friends and I are. We're planning a girls' trip because one friend needs to get her yayas out, in quotes. Never heard this before. Those I pull think it means boobs. Then Andy says it last week. What's your definition of get your yayas out?
I mean, we use it all the time with the kids. It's definitely not titties.
But is that the origin?
No. Yayas to me is like get your hypers out. Like go get your... go kind of run off some energy or go party and like be uninhibited and kind of get your yayas out.
But this is the thing.
Now I know it does sound like boobs.
You do 2 things. One, you have a computer in front of you. I just want you to Google get your yayas out Urban Dictionary.
Well,
and
that's okay.
I think you should do that. And I think you're right. When you describe it like that, it's like get your yayas out. There's, free spirit having fun and they're pulling up their shirt. You're getting your yayas out. You're going crazy. No inhibitions.
Well, the latest revision of the Oxford English Dictionary, which is...
This is in the Oxford Dictionary?
Defines getting your yayas out as enjoy yourself uninhibitedly.
Great. Kind of just what you said. I love that. That's from Oxford?
That's from a WordPress that's citing Oxford. But, okay. Urban Dictionary?
Mm-hmm.
Dictionary.
Get your yayas
Get
out.
your yayas out. To get your extra energy out or blow off some steam.
Oh. Can you do one more Google for me? Get your yayas out. Origins?
Here's another one on Urban Dictionary. To indulge/vent an urge that society does not approve of. It can be fighting, partying, drinking, having sex, smoking pot, having a measly half cigarette on the picket line. Whatever. So weird that that's in there. So anyway.
Okay, cool. Well, I think
Yeah, because
I mean, it.
Yeah, there are terms we use with our kids that I'm like, I don't use this with our kids a lot, but like that sucks. Isn't the origin like dick?
Maybe. But
my mom always had a problem with that sucks.
Oh, that's funny.
And
that's
I think
funny.
it's because the implication was
dong.
Yeah. Have I ever told you the story of my when I was in like late middle school, maybe high school, that song, Mary Mo, she's a vegetarian. And my mom would be like, she didn't really listen to it.
What's the big line in it?
It was playing they were playing it all the time. And she was like, Elizabeth, this is like you're a vegetarian. And then it was like, she don't eat meat, but she sure like the bone.
Liking the dong is what
yeah,
it was.
And then she realized what was going on.
I wonder if there were any other innuendos in that song.
I'm sure. Okay, let's talk about something that happened this morning. Oh, God, I have so many things to talk about.
I have a couple things to pose to you as well.
Well,
so
just
we'll
speaking,
just see what
you know what? First, I'm going to say this. I had an experience yesterday. You know, I've talked about wanting to be a little bit more colorful. I haven't like dipped into that yet because we don't really shop very much.
Yeah.
But I went to dinner with two of my friends last night, and they're so stylish.
Were they colorful stylish last night?
No, they weren't, but they were cool stylish.
Yeah.
And I felt very underdressed.
Okay.
I looked like shit. I realized my jean jacket that like I think is cool is really past its prime.
Oh, like so much so that like you're going to get rid of it?
Or
I don't think
maybe I can
put
get
it
rid
deep
of it.
in the depths of the closet for when it might be cool again, maybe.
Exactly. It's going to be on pause for a minute.
How'd you realize it wasn't cool anymore?
You know when you like see a picture of yourself and you're like, that's me? I had that moment like in the bathroom mirror. I was like, I saw myself with fresh eyes. And I was like, oh no.
And were you in like, obviously your company was looking good, looking hip.
So good.
But was the whole restaurant looking?
Yeah.
So like the lens was, you were like, oh wow, I'm the outlier here.
Correct.
Oof. I feel bad because I should have said something before you were leaving the house because I had the thought.
Andy, shut up. So anyway, this is neither here nor there. I'm just like, I'm craving kind of a makeover.
Okay.
And part of that is like, I want to be more stylish. Mm-hmm. This is terrible timing because I have no income right now.
Sure.
So I don't know how this is all going to work out. Not that you need tons of money, you know, I could go shop secondhand.
Yeah.
But a lot of times those clothes don't fit a gal like me. A lot of the vintage stuff is for like teeny tinies.
Huh.
But anyway, at any rate, I went to buy a few bottles of wine at Silver Lake Wine before dinner last night.
Okay.
And the coolest girl I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Effortless.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like pops of color.
Oh.
Dressed casually, but like could totally be at that restaurant and play it off.
Okay.
Goes in and like she knows where she's going. She goes to get her cool bottle of wine.
Oh, she's not an employee. She's just someone.
She's coming
comes in. How old do you think?
30.
Okay.
And here's another thing you know about me.
Yeah.
I've never been able to find my scent.
You're smelling this lady too?
Well, I'm getting to that. You know, back in the day, it was like Trésor, and then I went through a Kai phase. I think a lot of women listeners will, in around 40, will relate to this.
Okay.
But I've always been envious of women who find their scent and can pull it off. Sometimes I find scents offensive and I like prefer, listen, if we're in a writer's room, please don't come in, blasted with whatever. But I do appreciate like going out and when you want to kind of feel a little extra.
Okay.
And I've had a hard time with scents.
Okay.
And it's been something missing in my life. I walk by this woman and I'm like, holy shit, that's my scent.
Really?
It is so good. And it's like not too girly, not too over the top, not offensive to me.
Okay.
And so she starts to walk by me and I'm like, excuse me, what perfume are you wearing? And she looks at me like, oh, honey. Because again, I'm dressed like shit.
Axe body spray, she says. Nothing.
No. So what she tells me, I get in my car.
She felt sorry for you?
She felt sorry for me, and I couldn't.
Was she like, this is out of your league, you're not worthy of this scent?
That's what it kind of was like. I think in reality, maybe I'm imposing a little bit too much on it. She probably was like embarrassed about
that she smelled
what she was going to tell me.
Oh, okay.
Because what she then told me, the fragrance, I look it up. It is $600.
What?
So the good news
is
this
is just some dumb rich
I found my
trust fund baby rolling around with $600 perfume, and she rolled her eyes at you.
No, I don't think I think once I found out the price, I think it was equal parts like, I don't think this is for you, not in an obnoxious way, just like
yeah, but she sizing
me up.
Yeah,
and she's correct about that. Yeah. I found my scent, and the bad news is I will never have it. I'll never have it.
Well, name the scent in case someone works there and would send us a bottle for free.
I don't think so.
Because then maybe your dreams could come true.
Okay.
What is it?
Maison Francis Kirk Dijon.
Dijon?
Kirk,
like the mustard?
Kirk Dijon. Baccarat Rouge. Eau de Parfum.
God, I want to smell it so I know.
Now, there are other sizes. To be fair, there is a smaller size that is only $375.
Wow.
So
if that's something you get, how long does that last?
It totally depends on how much but I mean, I'm looking at this like, this is absolutely bananas. The top, you could spend $845 for a bottle of this.
How big? How many milliliters?
Okay, that one is 6.8 ounces. So that's pretty big.
I guess that's a lot of perfume. Yeah, I guess perfume. Can I just see the bottle? I know this is horrible for our listeners. Or you could check out our YouTube. Or yeah, I promise I will put the picture of the bottle up on the YouTube.
I'll have this on our Amazon to see if anyone.
But this isn't. They don't sell. Oh, can I see the smaller bottle? That is a cool bottle.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to smell it.
I know.
Next time I'm at, where could we smell it here in?
Yeah, like Neiman's or places we don't go.
Do they have a Neiman's?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Neiman's around. We sound so stupid, but...
No, we don't.
No, we sound...
The lady...
like people who don't spend $800 on...
What she should have done is just flat out told you no judgment, no anything.
No, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt because I really like her. This is the extent of our interaction. But I think she was equal parts embarrassed to be like, oh, I'm going to tell you a perfume that you're going to go later and see like, oh my God.
But she doesn't deserve it then. Like if she's embarrassed about it, she's actually not their clientele.
No,
like she should have just owned it.
I relate to this in the sense that I was very privileged growing up. And a big thing in St. Louis is, where did you go to high school?
Okay.
And you might relate to this.
I'm embarrassed about that I went to that high school.
Yes.
Or like middle school.
But, well, your high school was even more obnoxious than the school I went to.
No, not at all.
Okay, we'll get into this.
Sure.
Yeah, when people from St. Louis, the question in St. Louis it's a very specific to St. Louis question. When you meet someone from St. Louis, the first question is, where did you go to high school?
Gotcha.
Because it says so much about the person. And I am embarrassed to say Country Day, not because it's not a good school.
Oh, I never thought you didn't know you were embarrassed. This is great to hear. I like this.
Yeah, it's just a little bit you're saying like I'm part of the problem.
See, I have a different chip on my shoulder with all of it.
But can I just say for our listeners, you left St. Louis. You also went to that school.
For 2 years. Yep, I did.
You
Only
need to
2 years.
quantify it. Yeah. And then you moved to Idaho, Sun Valley, Idaho, a ski town, where you then went to school, a very, very small private school.
Yeah.
It was very, very expensive. And I know that you went there because your mom was a teacher there.
Yeah.
But
it cost us $500 a year.
But people don't necessarily know that. And
Sure, maybe,
if people know of that school, I mean, many kids in your class had private jets. Like, it's that level.
No.
It's a crazy
there was
level.
One kid in our class that may or may not have had a private jet. Or probably had a private jet.
I mean, come on.
But just one. Out of 20, I guess that's still a good ratio.
But overall at the school, it was like the Bruce Willis kids went there.
Sure.
Who was it Spider-Man or someone's kid that, it wasn't Christopher Reeves.
I don't even know why. That's funny. Are you thinking Richard Dreyfuss and his kids all went there?
No, who was the superheroes kid that you were friends with?
Oh, Batman's kid. I'm embarrassed of anybody that I know that's listening from this. I'm not even going to name any names because I'm embarrassed for all of them.
See?
Speaking of which,
you
though.
should feel embarrassed.
Speaking
this is what
of
I'm
which,
saying.
though.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I just had a weird grumble. Okay.
But I just want to say for anyone who's going, oh, she was privileged and went to this obnoxious school.
Yeah.
Just know that my parents did then very quickly die after I left that school. And the privilege didn't follow me through life.
Okay. My hang up, two things. My hang up with it is I've always been the kid that got to go to the fancy school but didn't have the money to go to the fancy school.
Right.
So I've always carried that chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
So when I went to the school, you're talking about Country Day for 7th and 8th grade only. My brother did go there for 4 years, so all of high school. But, my dad had an auto parts store. My mom was a teacher, but education was so important for them. So this was a big splurge for them. And so I went to those schools, but didn't go to the cotillion dance stuff. And I always knew that I wasn't the rich kid at those schools, right?
Yeah.
So I had that chip on my shoulder.
I knew that too, by the way, not to the probably same degree.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah. Then when I moved to Sun Valley, here's the difference to me is, yes, maybe the kids in my school, maybe they are wealthier families, but you didn't feel it the same way because this was a school that was all about being outdoors. There was no dress code whatsoever. So I didn't grow that. I never felt the wealth there, except some of my friends' houses were like, holy fucking shit, you got some crazy houses. But I still had a bit of a chip on my shoulder because I knew I was going there for $500 a year because my mom taught there, but not really anything compared to the other situation.
I think
the
wealth
other one
in St.
oozes
Louis,
prestige as a thing,
and
whereas
it's formal.
Yeah, whereas the school that you're talking about that I went to school, the tiny private ski resort school, didn't ooze that sort of. It's kind of a gross prestige that some of these schools. I mean, I think on the East Coast it's really bad, right? Like the Ivy League boarding schools and
yeah. But there is something about the St. Louis scene. I find it very weird that growing up, I was aware of whose family had more money and what lane you lived on.
Yeah.
Translated to, there is something very, and I mean, I'm writing a TV show about this world because I find it fascinating the way money is such a big character there, which I don't find in other places where there's way more money in some ways.
Yeah.
So anyway, but going back to the perfume, where was I going with this?
Before we get back to the perfume, though, I did have one. Actually, it can wait till after the perfume.
I think I was done with the perfume. It's just I'm on a quest to update me. And maybe I can get like a sample of that perfume or something, and then I'll...
Maybe it's the kind that they have like the knockoff at Walgreens. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
What if I got you a bottle, like a $300 bottle as a gift at some point of the perfume? Would you be stoked, or would you be like, that was a waste? You know what I mean? Because it almost gets in that blurry territory where it can be like such a thoughtful gift, or it could also kind of backfire. And I'll take it a step further. It could also be like you would realize once you had it, like, oh, I don't really like this, actually. You only smelled it that one time,
and, you know,
on that
perfumes
one
are
body
different.
chemistry.
Right,
and like,
right.
what is her diet? What's her deal? Do you know
I'd
what
love
I mean?
to know everything about her.
You know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, I wouldn't I don't know. Honestly, it depends on what is going on with us. It's like, am I not working indefinitely?
No,
like,
yeah, of course.
Right now, I would be so upset.
That would be a frivolous expense.
But that would be a nice gift someday.
Speaking of schools and whatnot, okay. I don't know how this is going to go for you. I was in my news app. I think I'm keeping this sort of anonymous because I feel like we've named these people on the show before. I don't necessarily want to name them right now. You might. We'll see how it goes. But I saw an ex of mine in their husband in a news feed. And I was like, oh, yeah. Now, this ex goes by
How's she looking?
A different...
Great.
Oh, no. She's looking fine. You found this ex on Instagram maybe a year ago.
Years.
And I didn't even go down the wormhole, except maybe you and I once like looked at it together. I, honest to God, never revisited it or ever looked at it.
Oh, I have.
The other day. Okay, this is great. But so this is what I want to know.
Okay.
So the other day I realized they have a YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my God, I have to see this. But out of respect to you, I wanted to let you know first to see if you would want to join me on that. I haven't looked at it at all.
Of course.
Great.
Oh my God, let's make a night of it. Like, honestly, let's put the kids to bed. Let's make old fashions. Let's put it up on the Apple TV. We are going to go hard.
Because I just saw that there was a YouTube and I was like, I got to check this out, but I feel weird checking it out without you. And I feel like the last few days you weren't in the right headspace for me to bring this to you because I was hoping your reaction would be this. But I feel like, am I correct that maybe in the last couple of days you might have been like, just not in the right headspace for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
I love this. This is great.
Great.
For anyone who's wondering and is going like, what? Basically, I'm not going to name names right now either. Maybe we'll change our minds after we do this experiment. But Andy, because of this fancy high school, well, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Whatever. He has an ex-girlfriend. It was an important girlfriend to him.
She was a nice ex-girl.
You were in love with her, right?
I don't know. It was like a nice. It was of. Oh God, I really don't want to say too much about this.
Did she make you hard?
Quick side note.
Okay.
This girlfriend.
Yeah.
There is a big chance that she thinks so little, so low of me.
Really?
Yeah, and recently my mom...
Why?
I'll tell you.
What did you do?
My mom, when I was visiting Idaho, gave me like this box of like memories and stuff. And there was a ticket stub in this box to a Big Head Todd and the Monsters concert.
Oh, yeah.
That when I saw... It triggered me so bad, I immediately threw it away because of how huge I embarrassed myself in front of this girl at that concert.
What did you do?
I was so hammered. And like, I don't know. All I know is I was so hammered.
How old?
And probably like 18 or 19.
Okay.
And erratic and being like a dipshit. And this is like after we had broken up. And so.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I saw this Big Head Todd and the Monsters thing. Shout out if there's any listeners that went to that show at Elkhorn. You know what I'm talking about. And it was like, I was so embarrassed. I also have another embarrassing
I'm embarrassed right
I also have another embarrassing memory of I went to college and was like still sort of dating her right in the beginning of that, entering freshman year. And I can remember it falling apart very quickly. And I went on like a road trip with some new friends and got so hammered. And I can remember calling her like desperate and
no.
These are all
Andy.
bad feelings. Then to make it even worse, in my mind, I have this memory of her mother, who I really like, okay? And this is the crazy thing, because I actually don't think this is a real memory. I think it's just some weird reoccurring dream I have. I'm being totally serious if anyone relates to this. If it is real, it's
my
like...
gosh, my shirt's on backwards.
That's cool.
So weird. We're a mess.
I had this like reoccurring dream, and I can picture it where I'm like in the kitchen with the mother, and the mom's just like, you just can't come around here anymore. Like,
Andy.
Yeah. And
no.
But I don't think that's the case. This is also a family that like took me on trips with them, that once let me watch some of their siblings while the rest of the family was out of town. Like, I think they liked me. The dad, not so much. But so I don't think my memory of the mom saying I can't come around there anymore is real. But anyways, I just have weird feelings. So
I feel weird about it. I have to say, like, I think so highly of you.
Yeah, thanks.
But us talking about, like, we're going to get drunk and watch their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They have millions of subscribers, I'm sure. And I have now this, like, sinking feeling about, like, we're obviously, like...
The losers.
If she found out, she's like, oh, that guy. Like, I wonder what he's up to.
Oh, my God. And goes to, hey, if anyone's listening, can a couple of you guys go sub to our YouTube channel so it doesn't look so pathetic?
Oh, my God. We're the losers. But you know what? We have each other. You no longer have a drinking problem.
But here's the other thing is like, this is a weird thing because I wonder, and if you're listening, just let me know, are we cool?
Well, you know what?
But I think in my heart of hearts, I wonder, it would be so nice if in her memory she is like just fond of me, like, oh, yes. Are you kidding? Like, you know what I mean?
It's a hard thing to say.
But I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. And it could be like, oh, what a piece of shit. There's the potential.
Recently I had this experience, and this is hitting a specific place of mine because, as you said, lately, and we talked about this on our Patreon episode this month, I've been dealing with some social anxiety, which is very out of character for me. And
I don't know if out of character is the right word, but it's been a lot. It's been louder lately. Yeah.
And I don't know what is going on with that.
I think both of us too, though. I have been feeling, I mentioned this last week a little bit, like this insecure feeling.
Right.
We've both been like kind of needy a little bit in this way, which I had the thought, like, I sometimes find that embarrassing to almost like, admit to you, because like, I'm like, oh, you wouldn't think that's attractive, like or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But like, where the reality is if you have a nice sit down chat and can convey those feelings, you're not judging me, and it's probably bringing us closer.
Right.
But then I had the thought the other day, like, it's okay if we're feeling needy for each other, and like, because we're here for each other, and we're going to take turns in that. But I feel like both of us the last few weeks have been like taking turns kind of feeling that way.
Yes, I would agree. And it's interesting because you and I kind of have it in different ways. Like, I feel like you tend to get it when you're like, say you're releasing a project, or like a song is going off to something.
Okay.
You will get it right before it's heading out. Right? I tend to get it once I've sent something or once we've done something. I'm like, oh my God, how was that? Like,
yeah, yours is always
do they hate it? Or they
after
like
the fact reactive or
so
after the fact.
reactive, yeah. And after the fact, you're pretty much like it's off your plate. You're full steam ahead. So it's nice that we balance each other that way. But what I was going to say is that was reminding me of, again, I think I'm not going to name names, but this person I respect very, very, very much. I had worked with years and years ago.
Yeah.
And recently, she and I both had a thing where we were just talking about something else, and I don't talk to her all that often, but I have so much love for this person. And she was like, I have to say one of my biggest regrets is this thing I did when we were working on this project.
Okay.
And I was like, I have no memory of it. And she had been carrying it. And I was like, one of my biggest regrets was when we were working on this project. You know, I was very green. Now notes come at me and like truly do not rattle me in the least. I can get all the notes I want. The only thing that rattles me is if it's like I have to, the worst kind of note is a note where I'm like, I agree with the note and I have to now rework something in a way I don't know how yet. Like that will send me into a spiral. Sure. But like just stupid notes coming at me or whatever, I can handle it all.
Yeah.
You get it with experience, right? And it doesn't like hurt my feelings. It doesn't, I don't have a hard time with it emotionally. But back then, and I think every writer goes through this, like getting her notes or getting the studio notes or network notes, whatever, was really hard. And I kind of had a breakdown over it instead of just taking the note or not taking it. And I'm to this day so embarrassed about it. But I said that to her and she's like, I have no idea what we both were like,
that's great.
We do not remember that at all. And both of us have been carrying that for years.
Yeah.
So, there's a good chance that this ex-girlfriend, and I want to give context to her. She is an actor. She's married to an actor in like pockets of entertainment, very big, well-known people, I would say.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree? I don't know. I'm trying to give context when we're talking about her and this and the YouTube channel and whatever. I do remember when you and I were first dating, and I think I had just found out that she was an ex of yours.
Okay.
And I was doing improv in New York. I was doing stuff at UCB. All of my friends, were like getting national commercials and things like that. And I was just like, oh my God, people are getting their SAG cards. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And I had a very hard time getting any auditions, let alone booking anything. And I finally got an audition at MTV in Times Square.
Right.
I went there and it was for like some kind of reality, like embarrassment show or like reality show where they pop out and they're like, psych,
some
that's
sort of like punked type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, punk adjacent.
So not like the highest quality caliber.
Yeah.
Wasn't going in for Succession.
Yeah.
And I botched that audition.
Hey.
And I was like, I can't even get a good audition for like the worst thing that there is to audition for. And I walk out, I'm feeling so low. And I look up and I see your ex-girlfriend on a billboard that's like 3 stories tall in Times Square with her hair blowing. There was like a horse. She had like hair that was like matched the like silky tresses of a horse tail or whatever. Because she was on like a horse show at that time. And I was just like, well, isn't this fucking great? And, but I do have to remind myself, we have each other. Like, life is good. Life is great.
I have one homie that I know has listened to our show before that also dated her. And so if you're listening, I hope you're finding this amusing and maybe you can reach out to me and just make me feel a little bit better about the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about something.
Sure.
So this morning, we had something happen. And
we did?
Well, I was talking about I'm going to make lemon bars.
Oh, yeah.
And you decided you didn't like... Now, you've been wanting me to make lemon bars. You love my lemon bars.
They're so good.
For anyone who doesn't know, I actually started a business in New York.
Based on these lemon
bars. And the business's name was... So at the time, I was working as a gardener and florist. And I named it the Flour Shop, Flour, which now is like a huge bakery. I should have held on to that.
Yeah.
God.
I wonder if you could... Do you hold on to anything from that? Maybe we could sue some way. We have stickers.
When there's a will, there's a way.
Is there a trademark thing with stickers?
God, I put so much... Like, at the time, we had very little money. I think I put like $7,000.
Wow.
Into that because I was like, I have to get... You can't, like... Because of...
No offense, but like, what did you spend the money on? I remember the stickers and the sheet pans and the lemons and the flour and butter. But what else did you spend money on?
This is what I do. When I have an idea, I go to 1,000 instead of just like putting one foot in front of the other. And I rented out. I got like certified to bake. There's all this stuff in New York, too, for sanitation reasons.
Hopefully that's everywhere, not just New York.
Well, I don't know. I think they're very hardcore about it. And, like, you're not really supposed to be selling things that you've made in your home kitchen. But, of course, everyone does.
Yeah, sure.
To get started. Because you can't afford to be like, I'm going to rent out part of a commercial kitchen. I mean, I was doing all sorts of crazy shit. So...
Okay. Anyways, they're great. My brother would say they're the best goddamn lemon bars he's ever had. He loves them.
And what would you say?
They're really good. No, I love them.
Are they the best lemon bars you've ever had?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I don't even like lemon bars that much. Like the gelatinous...
Such a weird flex, but okay.
But these are good. So, you've been wanting me to make lemon bars.
Yeah.
I make them in a 13 by 8 inch, like huge sheet pan.
That's not huge, but okay. It's a sheet pan.
Okay. You have a problem with the fact that I usually make them when we're also giving them to other people.
Yeah.
But you don't eat them fast enough. Like, they don't keep for so long that you can have, like, you wouldn't be able to get through all of these. And so today you lectured me about the spirit behind me making these lemon bars this morning. What did you say?
Because you only make them... Okay, you need a little context. Yesterday, when you were out at dinner, somehow they came up. The kids and I were talking about them.
That's so weird.
I know, it is kind of random. And I said last night to the kids, yes, we got to convince Mom to make them tomorrow, but only if she's going to make them for us, not to give to somebody else. Because... And this is what I mean. The spirit, what it takes for you to make them is to have a reason like that. We're going over to someone's house, and it is a very nice gesture. You're going to make them. But then we get the shaft because we give most of them away to where we're going. And what I was saying is, I want you to just make them for us because you want us to enjoy them. You want us to be happy. I want us to be the family that you're thinking of when you're bringing them over to their house.
It feels
as
so
the gesture.
Controlling. Like you are trying to control the spirit with which I am doing the thing that you want me to do. You said specifically, this morning I wanted you to wake up and go, I want to make lemon bars for Andy and the kids. Oh, and also, we're going to our friend's house tonight.
How perfect.
How perfect. I can take some.
Instead,
opposed to
waking up, we were going over to our friend's house. What could I do? Ooh, I could make my special lemon bars. They would love them. They're the best lemon bars. Yeah, I'll make them that's what I'll do.
And also, Andy will be so excited because he loves them.
But I'm the afterthought in that conversation. And you never just make them for us. You never have the thought, oh my gosh,
because
my family loves these so many.
There are too
so
many
much.
of them. There are too many of them, and they're meant for sharing. And that feels very controlling. And after last week, the whole thing, you won't even let me have half a cigarette. My daily weigh-ins you're doing lately. I'm just kidding. Obviously joking about that. But it's a red flag. It's like I've been listening to Something Was Wrong, that podcast, you know.
Uh-huh.
I took a break from it. I kind of got back into it on my walk this morning. And, there are so many red flags that happen. And one of them is like this kind of controlling, trying to control.
The spirit in which lemon bars are made.
What if you're
cut to an interview with my ex's mom? Like, yeah, I told him not to come around here anymore.
This is like the long game con of yours.
So you're worried about this, though? My spirit, this feels too controlling?
It feels a little controlling.
But...
I'm joking. It doesn't really. I'm not worried.
You don't make that. I think if we distill this down, you don't make them enough just for us. And I think maybe it is if you are going to see this. What I was talking about spirit was this. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I want to make those for the family. They love them so much. And then you make them and then you go, oh, and we're going over to our friend's house for dinner. Let's make that. We'll pack them up a little plate too.
I want to tell you something.
But they're the afterthought.
I want to tell you two things. One, the first one's going to hurt.
Great.
I wouldn't be making them if it wasn't like...
I know. That's why we're having this conversation. I know. And it does hurt. Yes, I know.
Okay. Number two, it's your lucky day. Our friends canceled.
That's not necessarily lucky, but...
No, obviously.
In the lemon bar
they're
situation.
Sick and,
So you're going to...
I am still making them.
You're going to.
For you.
But, okay, hold on. I bet you've already thought in your head how to get rid of some of the extra ones that were going to go. I bet you have. I know there's a play date tomorrow, and I know you had already accounted for that. So I will allow those to be leaving the house.
Don't you think Lauren Lapkus would want a lemon bar? They're coming over.
But if they're at...
Well, now she's getting one.
Yes.
Yeah. They're getting
They're
three.
not taking any home, is what I'm saying. They can be offered one. They can be offered one, but they're not taking any. And so help me God, if I see you wrapping up a plate for them.
I'm wrapping up a plate for them.
Plus the play date later that day? Are you out of your mind?
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm just going to have one lemon bar. It's only because I love them so much.
You'll get plenty. You act like there are so many. There's so many. Be jazzed. Okay.
Can we switch gears to something kind of heavy?
Please. No, I don't know. I'm nervous.
Okay, I think I told you about one of these. I may have even mentioned on the podcast. So I'll start with what I told you before. Our daughter had a dream. And said I had a really bad dream.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? And she said, well, you and me, we were on a paddleboard, which, listeners, is not something that we do. We've talked about doing it, but we don't do it. And like...
You've done it.
No, not yet. I can't wait to, though.
Oh.
I hope to this summer. Well, maybe not after this dream, I tell you. And so we were paddleboarding, and you fell off, and you didn't come back up. So that's not a great dream to hear that your daughter had, right?
Yeah.
It was just like a little, but I was also like, I get it. And it didn't spook me. 2 days later, I wake up our son. Okay.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, gotta get up. And he goes, I had a really bad dream.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? What was it? And he started by saying, you were on the beach.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
And I was like, and I think he saw my expression, even him just saying you were on the beach, but it was you were on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And there was the king tide. And I was like, what's the king tide?
Yeah.
And he said, the tide. And I was like, yeah, the water coming in. He's like, a really, really big wave. And I was like, okay. And then he sort of pivoted, included like the whole family in it.
Uh-huh.
And was like, the wave came and we all got washed away.
Oh, no.
But I'm like, 2 water dreams within a week about me?
You got to stay dry. I mean, I will say, not to add fuel to this fire.
You had a dream last night. A bathtub accident.
No. I'm sure I'm about to cry, but I won't. But, I have one letter from my mom that she wrote to me when she was sick. But I think she wrote it at a time, it was March. So I think she thought she still had a chance, basically. But I have it framed right over there. And in it, she says to me, "You're at home on spring break, not in bed, not feeling well. Last night you had this dream that..."
Oh, good God.
"that you and I were climbing Mount Everest."
Oh.
Are you so relieved it's not a water dream? "And we were side by side." Or should I just go get it?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm going to grab it. "I'm writing this as I sit outside at the Sierra Madre town square sipping my coffee milkshake.
Hey.
You're at home on spring break in bed not feeling well. Last night you had that dream about climbing Mount Everest. I was by your side and then I disappeared. You must always remember that I want you to keep climbing, reaching all your goals and reaching for the stars, even though I can't keep up with you. I'll be bringing up the rear, rejoicing as you reach the summit." And then she says, "You are the greatest of blessings in my life, my living angel, my darling daughter."
Oh, God. Fuck.
So it did make me think of that. She did die. But so
How soon did she die?
Let's see. This was March and she died in December. Let's keep you bone dry.
Well, she didn't climb Everest. You guys weren't climbing Everest. I don't think. I'm less worried about the specifics. I mean, it's weird that there were two water things, but I thought I was just spooked by the whole metaphor of me disappearing and dying in both of these dreams.
You know what? Can we try to silver lining this? Maybe it's because you have been such an amazing presence to them. You are truly the best dad ever. You're like such a rock for them. And this is kind of them processing, like, how scary it would be. I mean, that is a nightmare. We all have nightmares that aren't real. And it's like processing your internalized
It just
fears.
seems spooky in the same
It sure
week.
did. It sure does. I'm not gonna lie.
And I gotta be honest, I think this note is so sweet, and I love this. And by the way, I think it needs to be moved somewhere to keep it in a little nicer condition.
Okay.
Doesn't it seem like it needs a little...
Well, look, you can see where the sun...
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, it's so incredible. It's so incredible.
Yeah.
But maybe it needs to be... We might need a...
Hey, she's in Paris.
Hey, yeah.
Arc de Triomphe in that picture. Anyway.
I don't know. Wow.
Well, that is
wild.
upsetting. I'm not going to lie. But we don't need to read too much into it. We have such a long life ahead of us. We're going to...
The lack of confidence you're saying that with right now. You're in your mind being like, shit, I better get our affairs in order this week. That's the kind of confidence that tone in your voice sounded.
No.
We have so much time together.
Oh, I just saw this other really heavy thing that I'm going to talk about.
God damn it.
This is really sad.
Okay.
Some people might know, speaking of like big YouTubers and stuff, there is this woman.
I just want to go on record. This actress, she has a lot of YouTube followers. Our YouTube channel, we just started. We're a podcast. We're not a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Our podcast numbers are great.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's going to know that if she looks at our YouTube numbers.
I
So
know.
go sub to our YouTube.
I don't know, but that makes it even more pathetic. God. Okay. Well, honestly, we're just such losers in this situation. And also, we're the ones who are like, we're going to get drunk and watch this. And like, but she's classy. She's living her life. Good for her.
And probably has some of these same fears of death that we do, you know? We're all people.
Honestly, we are all people.
We're all people.
We all have the same fears.
It doesn't matter what our YouTube numbers are.
So, okay. Is this woman called... It's not... Oh, we're going to have to edit this.
Oh, I don't want to, please.
Okay. This is really sad. And I went down this wormhole the other night.
Okay.
There's this woman called the Physics Gal, I think, is the handle. She's very big and has a huge following and is really interesting and talks about cool science stuff.
I think this has crossed my radar, yeah.
Wow. She got long COVID. And I didn't know this about long COVID. I mean, I had friends who had quote unquote long COVID and it was lingering. She has the worst version you could imagine of it. And she caught COVID on her honeymoon.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
Okay.
Gets through COVID.
Yeah.
Then this long COVID takes her down. She's been bedbound for months. Literally cannot do anything. And her new husband is taking care of her. And actually, I found her because I was looking at Patreon. And I was looking at other people's Patreons. And hers came up. And what's beautiful is she has 12,000 patrons who are, supporting them when, I mean, really sad. And just...
What was...
I don't know.
What was the point of this?
Well, I
don't remember.
know.
Do you remember?
I don't know. I think just none of it's good. None of it's good.
Okay.
I think it's a reminder for us to be just so grateful for what we do have. You never know what's going to come at you. And that was what it was. You never know what's going to come at you in life. And so just celebrate every day.
Okay, wait. So let me just get this straight, though. We all just went on the journey of the weird dreams. I'm scared that I'm going to die. You read your mom's really sweet letter. That kind of makes it worse. And then it's you never know what's going to happen. Insert another horrible example of somebody. Was that it? Jesus.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, I hope, shout out to Physics Girl. I hope it's that, man.
Yeah.
That shit sucks. It just sucks to be one of those numbers, one of that 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million or whatever. It's just fuck, man, that sucks.
And I think she's got the worst of it, and it can happen to anybody.
Yeah,
that's what's so devastating. She was so I mean,
all this, I guess that's that is a takeaway of life. You know, knock wood, you just never know. The craziest... God, I feel so uncomfortable talking about all of this right now. Are we jinxing ourselves to this crazy way?
No.
Give an example of something that you knows could happen that's wonderful that happened to somebody.
Hang on, just give me a few minutes.
Have you heard any good news lately?
Well, that's the thing is, everything's good, What? I was listening to Eckhart.
Take us out of here, Eckhart.
If you bring yourself into the present moment, truly everything is good. Usually. I mean, unless you're in a really terrible space, and usually then your brain can't take you to the present moment. So everything's fine. Oh my God, we have lost the plot. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't know. It's a weird time.
You can support the show at patreon.com/nobody's listening, right? Andy sometimes makes some silly videos on Instagram, which you can find
They're so good.
at nobody's listening,
right? I think
the
smoking one last week is my favorite so far.
And we will be back.
And in better, more positive mindsets.
Maybe we'll be back next week with a piece of good news, and maybe we've processed all of these feelings, and knock on wood, I'll still be here.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.